Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Testimony Thursdays. I'm your host, Dr. Jazz, child of God, physical therapist, author, mentor, daughter, auntie, friend, all the above that God has blessed me with. And you know, this podcast is all about sharing testimonies. And today, y'all, we have a very powerful testimony on here. And I just want to quickly talk about how I saw this testimony. So I do follow this Instagram page called Physiogram, and they always post a bunch of people who are going through some health scares and how they conquered it. So I reached out to this lovely lady and she agreed to be on my podcast. But before we get started, let's go to our scripture. This is one that I do reference a lot on this podcast. So this is
Okay.
from 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. So you must honor God with your body. So we're going to get into honoring God and talking about how our bodies are a temple. So I'm going to go ahead and have my guest introduce herself.
Hi. See, I don't even, I'm Jasmine Ryland. I'm a photographer. I'm based in Dallas, Texas. I am an artist. I'm fun. I'm exciting. I do a lot of community. See, Jasmine, you have to edit this.
I will try. I do not the
Jasmine.
edit thing. If I send it to you, can you edit it? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it to you for real. Because I don't know how to
Okay.
do stuff and like, you know.
Okay. I'm Jasmine Ryland. I'm a photographer based in Dallas, Texas. Outside of photography, I do activations and brand events throughout the city. And I had a stroke in 2023.
Wow, Jazz. I didn't know you did brand activities. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for sharing that. And I do want to start off with a little icebreaker because I did look at your Instagram page and you are a fashionista, like
Am
just
I?
absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Thank you.
So I kind of want to do like this or that and see how like what the temperature is. So do you
Okay.
prefer like casual dressing, cute sneakers, jeans, a cute top, or do you prefer heels, dress down to the T, all
Casual.
casual? Okay, gotcha. Do
But I also think it depends. It depends on where I'm going. But 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be casual.
yeah, I'm the same
Unfortunately, and
way.
I'm in the process of like reworking that. Like I have been reworking my closet, what feels like a year, but I'm consistently throwing things away and adding things. So I'm trying to get out of my casual phase.
See, I'm the same way though. I love like casual, cute. Like I love dressing like that. I think it's always
Yes, I love a sneaker.
love a sneaker. Yes. With photography, do you like more off guard or do you like more intentional photos?
Oh, that's hard. Um, it depends. I think it depends on the situation, but uh, maybe off guard.
Guard. I love an
Yeah,
off guard.
I'm gonna say off guard. I'm gonna say off guard because I feel like you have to be intentional with the shooting of the image because
Mhm.
like I think you can set it up and like pose people and have the outfits and have all the things, but I think it's very very intentional to just shoot somebody as they are, like unfiltered, unposed, like all the things. And I don't think I really fell in love with that type of photography. Well, I didn't fall in love with that type of photography until I started shooting my grandparents, which I've always shot them, but my grandfather went through lung cancer and I would just always shoot him. Like he had lung cancer for 4 years. And I got into the habit of like every time I was with them, which was multiple times a month, I would drive to Arkansas, I would shoot him all the time. And it's so much beauty in just like the now and like as it is and off guards, because people aren't really, I think it says a lot when you shoot a person off guard, because you really can depict like what they're thinking and what they're going through at that time. Sorry, it
Whoa.
was a really long-winded answer.
No, thank you for sharing that. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about it like that. And I know like sometimes
Yeah.
people say like you should go back and look at your baby pictures and like think about
Yeah,
during that time and like what you were going through and stuff. So
for sure.
oh, that's awesome that you got to capture that. Because I'm the one in my family too where I love like having pictures of everyone and I love going through old photos of like my parents and my grandparents. Like,
Yes. And I tell people, I'm like, y'all should take photos all the time. Like, and not just on your iPhone. Like, I hate that. I just got a photo album last year. And I hate that we take all our photos on our phones. Like,
mhm,
we have to get back to the era of family photos again.
that's a good point.
Yes, we
Wow.
have to. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely get that. And even for me too, I kind of felt away like growing up because like, my we didn't have like iPhones and stuff. So like we were the last generation to really have photos, like real photos with like
Yeah.
and all that. And my parents did not take a lot of photos of me when I was young. And they were like, because you used to always cry. And I'm like, okay, you still should have
Oh,
took photos.
you weren't a photo kid.
I was a crybaby. I was a big crybaby. I was very shy. Like, don't I was
No.
like, "Don't look at me. Like, if you're not my parents, like, do not even look at me." So, but
Wow.
now it's funny how my personality is now.
I
But
was about to say it doesn't give that.
yeah, yeah, it was wild. But okay, one more question. Do you prefer being behind the lens or in front of the lens?
I'm gonna let you guess that one.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh,
100%. I was literally talking to my girlfriend earlier, and I was just like, I don't take pictures. And I even thought when I'm talking to my mom, oh my god, my mom, my friends, they're always like, "Can you take more photos? Can you get in front of the camera?" No.
oh, wow. But your Instagram, like when I look at your photos, I'm like, oh my gosh,
But do you see me?
not a lot. I think in the pin,
Oh, okay. I was about to say you probably,
yeah, I didn't really see it.
but again, I think this is since my incident, God has been like trying to get this out of me, and in a minute, I think He's literally gonna be like, "Here."
Yes, I'm here for it. I'm here
So
for it.
this is helping me.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank
Thank
you for
you.
agreeing to being on the podcast because I literally just,
Of
you
course, I don't even. I'm telling. I think this is the second podcast that I've ever been on. So again, just FYI, your audience, y'all, be nice.
oh my goodness. Yes. I mean, my
Be
audience is growing. We're gonna put it that way. It's,
okay.
my audience is my dad, my mama, and my auntie. So
Okay.
no, yeah. I swear, they support me so much. They call me after every episode and like,
That's good. I'm telling you, it's nothing like having a supportive family. Like, but we'll talk about it when we get down to the like nitty-gritty of the
yes.
conversation.
Okay, so you talked about how you had a stroke in 2023.
Yeah.
Can you lead us up to what was going on that day? Like what happened?
So, okay, to be 100% transparent, um, I can't tell you. Like, I can tell you like conversations that my family has told me. And when people ask me this, I always go back and I'm like, what was I doing? So before my incident, again, I kind of talked previously on this conversation. My grandfather had been fighting lung cancer for 4 years. He had lung cancer for 4 years, maybe five. And I'm really close to my grandparents. So I got the call on a Saturday. Got the call Saturday that my grandfather was dying. Essentially, they were just like, "There's nothing else we can do. Like they're gonna release him, and we're gonna take him home and do and let him transition at home." And I was like, "Okay." So I packed. And Jazz, the crazy, is it okay if I call you Jazz?
I love when people call me Jazz. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So crazy thing, I get the call that Saturday, and I pack. Of course, I'm emotional, I'm distraught. Like, I don't, when people say they're close to their grandparents, I don't know if I'm really close to my grandparents. Like, I talk to them every day, talk to my like, this is a normal thing for me. So I was like, okay, I have to go home to Arkansas. At the time, I was in Dallas, where I've been the last 6 years. I pack enough clothes. I packed 2 months of clothes. 2 months. Remember that, 2 months. So I packed my dog, I packed my computer, like my big computer screen. I took everything just because I didn't know how long I was going to be there. It's a 4 hour drive from Dallas to Little Rock. I get to Little Rock, go to my mom's house, go to sleep because I didn't go to the hospital that day. I woke up Sunday. My aunt called. My aunt, who is a head nurse in the cardiac department. And she's like, hey, can you take your uncle to the hospital because he doesn't feel good? And they have the kids at home, so she didn't want to leave the kids at the house by themselves. So she was like, can you come pick him up? So I woke up, did that. She called, so I drove straight over. It's about a 15-minute drive from my mom's house to my aunt's house. So my aunt was like, I walked in with my dog. My aunt was in the shower. My niece, they were in the front. And my dog, who knows my aunt, knows my nieces, my nephews, like, she's my dog knows them. And so Brooklyn, my niece, she said that she went to go tell her mom to come out because my dog bit her. My dog has never bit her before. But she said that I was acting weird. Like, something was wrong. She was like, I wasn't talking. And when I did talk, my speech was blurred. Like, nothing I was saying was making sense. And so Ace, my dog, bit her, which made my aunt jump out the shower. And my aunt was like, now that I think about it, maybe he was trying to alert somebody that something was wrong. So she gets out the shower, and she said she was looking at me and I just seemed off. So she asked me, this is what she told me, because I don't remember any of this, but she was like, I asked you, had you taken any drugs? Had you been drinking? Did you eat something? Is something going on? And she said that I wasn't really, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, you're muted. She was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't really responding. And she said I just seemed off. And she said something told her to check my blood pressure. She took my blood pressure, and the reading was 253, 255 over 253. And I couldn't believe it. She's like, I thought it was wrong. So she took it again, same reading. And she was like, she took it again on a different machine. And the number came back 255 over 253. And she said I tried to stand up, and I wasn't balanced. And she said I threw up. And she said those are signs of a stroke, like blurred speech, like can't stand, like throwing up. She was like, all of these are signs of a stroke. So she told my uncle, I think you need to get her to the hospital. I think she's having a stroke. But again, my aunt, she's a head nurse in the cardiac unit, so she knows this. So he gets me in the car. And my uncle said that we got to the hospital in 8 minutes. But in the process, she's calling her team. So she's letting them know, like, my niece is on the way. This is the reading. She may have a possible brain bleed. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. Prep the OR. Do all these things. So my uncle said we pulled up to the hospital. Cardiac team, everybody was already in the emergency room. And so when I came inside, my uncle brought me inside because he wasn't gonna wait for the ambulance to drive me. So he said we pull up to the hospital, the team is already there, and they took me straight back. Took me straight back to surgery because I had a brain bleed. So my stroke, um, it hit, I'll give you verbiage later for you to like write this out, but my stroke happened like in the frontal lobe of my brain. And so that's where I had to have the surgery. So I had the surgery. because I had a bad brain bleed. And so my aunt, who is calling doctors to get updates, they told her had she made it to the hospital 5 minutes later, she would have been brain dead, or she could have been brain dead. And the crazy thing is, like, I was, I went into the hospital that Sunday. My grandfather was just released that Friday. Same hospital. So I go, I can't hear you. I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
All right, I keep it muted while the I guess
Oh,
talking. Yeah, but I'm because I'm always talking. So that's the
yeah.
problem. So I keep it muted. So yeah.
Please talk. Please
No,
give me feedback.
no, because the way that even when I post it, like it'll switch the screen if
Oh,
I
okay, okay.
talk. Yeah.
So, so the crazy thing is, I get admitted into the hospital that Sunday. I think it was a Sunday, but my grandfather had just been released, literally maybe the day before. So anyway, I go into brain surgery. I have the surgery. I don't remember um how long the surgery was, but during that process, my uncle was like, I called your mom. And he said, I text her, told her to call me when she could. And then he was like, yeah, or no, I think he called her. Yeah, he called her. Of course he did. He called her and he was like, I don't want you to panic, but I need you to get to the hospital. Jasmine had a stroke. This is what's happening. Get here as soon as you can. And so of course my mom leaves, and then she comes to the hospital. And at the time, my mom, not at the time, but my mom she's worked for the state for 28 years. So her leaving work wasn't like something that couldn't be done. I don't, I think. Yeah, so my mom leaves work, she gets to the hospital, and I think at the time she gets to the hospital, I'm still in surgery. Could be saying some of this out of order, but I think at the time, at some point of my time in the hospital, I was put into a medically induced coma. And I think it was after the surgery. So I go into a medically induced coma. I'm in a coma for 3 days. And that's the photo that people see a lot on my Instagram, is when I'm in the coma, when I'm like under all that. And so um at the time that I am hospitalized, I end up staying in the hospital 2 months. You remember earlier I said I packed for 2 months. Ironically, I packed for crazy. See, now you're muted, so I can't hear you.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I listen to a lot of podcasts and I can't stand when people interrupt people because
yeah.
I love hearing stories. And so I'm trying not to interrupt you, but I have
No, it's okay.
things like in my head that I'm like, what? Like, first of all, oh my gosh. Like, thank you
Like,
so much for being on here and sharing this. Um,
I gotta tell you the rest.
yeah, like, yeah. Okay, continue.
So I ended up being so go through the surgery, and then I get moved into a room. I get moved onto the I don't know what the floor is, but it's is it is it ICU? I don't think it's ICU. Whatever the like, I'm fresh out off of a stroke. I'm like, I think I'm in a coma, like all these things. So I get moved into this floor, right? Crazy thing, my grandfather. Anyway, I get moved into the floor, and my mom comes to the hospital. My dad gets to the hospital. All my family's there. So my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my grandma, my uncle, my brother. Now my stepmom and my brother, they drove down from St. Louis at the time. And then my aunts, my cousins that live in Little Rock, they came to the hospital. My aunts and cousins that live in Dallas, they drove down. Everyone was there. Everyone was there. Everyone surrounded my parents. me. Like it was I remember when I got released from the hospital, like I had follow-up appointments, and the nurses were like, you were never alone. My nurses were like, it was a tornado in Little Rock at the time that I was hospitalized. She was like, you were here for 2 months, and I can't remember a day where you were by yourself. And like that's from my grandmother staying with me or my dad, but mainly my parents were there every day. And then my parents couldn't be there, my cousins were there, my aunt was there, my grandmother was there. Like someone was always there. And that's such a testament to like the love that my family has for each other, that we show up. Even if it's an inconvenience, even if we're far away, like we show up. And so I get released. And I can't. And when people ask me about my time in the hospital, it literally Jazz. It literally feels like 4 months of my life. It's just like it's like I took a long nap.
I don't
Like
know if
I can't tell you anything from my time in the hospital. It's
yeah.
like 4 months of my life
Mhm.
just wiped away.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched Jamie Foxx's, testimony on Netflix.
Yes,
And
yes,
he
I've heard.
had that's how it is. He was like, "I didn't even know I was in there for that long." Like, I'm trying to
Yeah,
be honest, and
it's it's like if it wasn't for my family, the photos, I couldn't tell you I was there. It was like I got the call about my grandfather, and that's the last thing I remember. Like even now, like when I go back and think about it, I still can't tell you anything I was doing at that time. And then when I got released, the doctors told my mom, they were like, she's gonna she's going to rest because my brain, I had the surgery, so I had to heal. It's really like it was like I was recalibrating for an extended period of time. I hope I used that word right. but but the doctors told my mom, they were like, she's going to sleep a lot. And so when I got home, my mom was like, out of the 24 hours of the day, she was like, you slept maybe 19, 18 and 19. She's like, maybe 23. She was like, you slept all day. She's like, you only got up to eat. And any other time I was asleep. She's like, it was like you slept for 2 weeks to a month. Like you just were sleeping.
so how long did it take you to get back to yourself?
So and that's the thing. Like realistically, I would say 2 months. That's what I would say. But my family would say a year. But when and fortunately I got released, but I had no side effects. Like the side effects that are expected, I didn't have. Like I was supposed to go to physical therapy. Every time I would go, my blood pressure would be up. So they wouldn't allow me to do physical therapy if my blood pressure was up. Every time I went, my blood pressure was up. And my doctors were like, do you feel like you need to go? And I was like, no, but if y'all want me to go, then I'll go. Like I could walk, I could talk, I could see, I could read, I could run, like all the things. But I had a really bad my breathing was bad. My breathing was really, really bad. I had really like short breaths. Like my breathing was really bad. And I think what happened was I got a tube down my throat at the time that I was in the hospital, and it blocked, something was blocked, because I ended up telling my doctor, and they did a like x-rays and all this stuff, and they saw that something was blocking my airway. So I had to go back to have like a little procedure for that. And after that, everything, I think that's when I really started my recovery journey. Um, so I would say 2 months, because after I got out of the hospital, I was fine. But my family was like, you weren't fine. My memory was horrible. Horrible. Like I couldn't, it was like somebody would tell me something and it wouldn't even go nowhere. Like I never, it was like you could tell me something and then 10 minutes later I don't even remember what you said or what I was doing. And I think I was like that for I, I think like the 5 to 10 minute thing that probably lasted 2 months, but I still have like little things now where it's hard for me to remember things or I'm forgetful. But at the time that I got released, it was really bad, really bad. So my family is like, it took a year. It didn't take 2 months. It took longer than a year. But I just didn't have like outwardly, you didn't know anything was wrong. And even now, like when I talk about it now, or when people are like, share a fun fact, and I share that, and it blows people's mind because you have this assumption of like what a stroke looks like and what the recovery looks like. And then you meet somebody and it looks nothing like that.
Yeah, this,
So all of that happened. Um, I want to backtrack a little bit. I got released from the hospital. And then my grandfather went back into the hospital. Again, I could be wrong with the timing, but I think it was a week. I got out. So my grandfather got released like that Friday. I got admitted that Sunday. And then I got released 2 months later. When I got released, my grandfather and my grandma, they all came to my house. And then a week later, my grandfather got back admitted into the hospital. And then he died 3 days later. But when he died, I came to visit him, like all my family. We all were there until he took his last breath. Everyone was in the hospital room. But the room that he was in was 3 doors down from my room that I was admitted into. And all of his nurses that were my nurses were his nurses. So it's so like stuff like that even now gives me chills because is that not crazy?
girl, this whole story is wild. I'm over here, like, I feel like I'm watching a movie. Like, I can literally see everything in my,
Yeah.
like,
It
it,
was the timing of it was just wild. Like it was like my family was like, this was the most craziest year we had had. But yeah.
oh my gosh, Jess, this is wild. And I am definitely a nerd. So it's a couple things that you said in the story
Okay.
that I definitely want to talk about. One, so me and my sister, we're both in the healthcare field. Like I'm a physical therapist
Okay.
and she's an occupational therapist.
Oh, nice. Okay.
When you have people that are in the healthcare field, they can advocate for you and they can have everything set up. So when you get there, you know exactly what questions to ask, what you need to do, everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have the stroke, they don't know the symptoms. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go lay down, and that's going to make up
Yeah.
even higher. And then by the time you wake up, you're going to try to get out of bed and you can't move.
Yeah.
So that usually happens. Two, when you do have a stroke and you go to the magic number is 3 hours. Like you need to try to be there
Yes.
3 hours because you could be having an ischemic stroke. So that's something different than what you had. Like the ischemic stroke is going to cause like a blockage. So that's sometimes when like a blood clot comes up and it blocks like an artery in the brain and
Mm-hmm.
clot buster. Yeah,
I'm gonna send it to you. I had my aunt send me the medical the medical report.
yeah.
I'll send it to you because I don't know exactly what kind of stroke it was, but you keep telling me because you may know.
Yes, it sounds like you had the stroke that kind of like how Jamie Foxx had, where you had that brain bleed. So that's important because if you go to the hospital, a lot of times people like the medical workers, if you don't have anybody that advocates for you, they're going to think you're having an ischemic stroke and then they're going to give you a buster. And with that, it's going to cause more brain bleed. And then it's just going to be a whole other thing. So
Mm.
you're not supposed to do that with that type of stroke. But I want to say over like 80% of strokes are ischemic strokes. So that's what they just do in the hospital if they don't know any better. But because your aunt, like she knew she got everything prepped, like
Yeah.
they were able to do that quickly. And you got to the hospital within 8 minutes. And the
8 minutes.
goal is to get there before that 3-hour mark. Like you want to get there before the 3-hour mark, so then you don't have a lot of those residual effects.
And then my aunt was like, when we talk about it now, she's like, you had to have been like stroking on your drive. She was like, something had to have been going on internally because she was like the timing. But before I had the stroke, I had like I knew high blood pressure run in my family on both sides. But like for weeks, I feel like weeks and months, like I would have headaches weekly. But also it's like I think my body had been telling me for a while that something was wrong. And I feel like we're gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna just say it now. But like a big thing that I always advocate for is like we have to have a wellness balance. Like we have to be balanced. So like since my incident, I cut fast food. I cook primarily from home. I I rarely I rarely eat out. Even if it's a restaurant, if I do, it's always like a salad or something like that or just chicken or what have you because and I was a fast food girly. I know we hate McDonald's, but I was a McDonald's girly. And I don't think people realize that a lot of foods, like whether it's a top 5-star restaurant or it's the McDonald's on the corner or it's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, same thing. Like everything is made in bulk. So it's tons of salt. And then they have to blanch a lot of meat. So it's dipped in a salt bath. Like there's so much that you don't know that goes into your food that affects your body. And so outside of my food, my lifestyle at the time was like very stressful, very go, 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 go. Not resting, not eating well, not practicing wellness, not exercising. None of the things like I should have been doing, I did. I just want to say that.
No, thank you for saying that because yes, I am the person in my family where I check everybody's blood pressure because
Do you?
girl, I'm so annoying. I check my friend's blood pressure,
Yes.
check my family blood pressure. Like if I'm around, you're gonna get your blood pressure taken. And even with me, like I do battle with high blood pressure. And
Hmm.
I always check my numbers and then I'll do like an exercise after and then I'll see it go down because I like to see it in real time. Because when you see it in real time, you can't ignore it. So
Yes. You
I have
know.
yeah, I have my friends like send me your blood pressure, what it's looking like today. I was working out with one of my friends and she was like, dang, like I don't feel well. I have a headache. I said, girl, we about to go to my car and check your blood pressure. And her blood
Yeah.
pressure was up. So
I'm that friend now.
yeah, I'm like, and checking all your vitals. I recently went to a conference, a physical therapy conference, and they talked about how we don't know what's going on in our bodies. We don't know our average heart rate. We don't know
We don't.
our temperature. We don't know our blood pressure.
We
And
don't.
it's like, and I love Tabitha Brown as well. And she kind of broke it down. She was like, you don't have to be a healthcare professional. You just have to be curious. You need to be
Yeah.
what you're doing in your body. You can go get some like insurances will cover a blood pressure cuff, but you can go get
Yes.
CVS. You can go get a
You can get a
thermometer.
cup for less than $20, maybe more, but you can get one.
You can check your blood sugar at home. You can test for UTIs at home. Like you can do
Yeah.
so much with your body. And if your body is feeling off, like the first thing you should think of is checking your vitals because it could be something as simple as like, okay, we're gonna get some medication that's gonna help
Yeah.
increase it, and that's gonna prolong it and give you some time to make lifestyle changes. Because that's another thing we shouldn't be like relying on anything, but besides um like medications, it's like we should be able to do lifestyle modifications because it does work. Like it's reversible.
And then we think like it can't happen to me.
Oh, that's right there. This clip is getting posted. We think it does not.
You think it can't happen to you. Girl, what?
Come on. And we think because we young and we're doing all
Yes.
eating, binge drinking, all of
And
that.
if anything, like nothing is what it we have made amazing like um we have made I forgot I lost my train of thought, but we have made amazing changes within this world, but food is not how it used to be. Food is not how it used to be. The world is not how it used to be. Like we have to maintain and like make wellness a necessity again. Like it is a necessity for me. Like I have to go on walks. I don't do fast food. I can't if it's gonna take a minute, it's gonna take a minute.
That's yeah, and you gotta have that discipline. And yes, like
And
every
sleep.
I don't work out and sleeping. Yes. Girl, I was just no, because I was my best friend was just here and we were he visited me in Hawaii and we were outside and I was making him take his blood pressure and I was taking my blood pressure and we
Yeah.
and all that. And then like when he got back home, I sent him my blood pressure and he was like, wow, it looks much better. And I was like, yeah, because now I'm getting sleep. Like I'm not
We have to balance it out. We have to. And I'm a fun girl. I went out last night. I love a good time.
Mhm.
But also like we have to balance it. You have to combat it with you have to meet the bad with the good. Not saying that going out and doing all the things are bad, but there has to be a balance.
Yeah. And I think too, when people watch this video, they are kind of going to be frustrated because they're going to think, okay, where do I start? And in my opinion, starting with taking your vitals, like just seeing what is going on with your body. Start by
Yeah,
heart rate, your blood pressure, your weight, your temperature.
100%.
Start by taking those daily. So then you can say, oh, okay, dang, like, and a lot of people don't know what high blood pressure the numbers are. Like
You don't know
above 120 over 80, you're automatically like it's already elevated. And if the bottom number, if your diastolic is above 80, you're already at stage one high blood pressure.
already.
That's already there. So it's like, and they
And people be like, I wasn't even doing nothing. It doesn't
you do
matter.
it,
It
and
doesn't
that's a
matter.
problem because you wouldn't do nothing. So that's
And
why it's like that.
then I'm like, well, what did you do last night? And they're like, but it's a different day. But no, it's what you did last night. It has to sit in the body while you sleep,
Mhm.
and then you wake up, and it was just, it's so crazy. So when I was, again, we hopping all over the place, guys. When I was released, and when I went home, came back to the city, or when I was at my mom's house, my feet were so swollen. Like like it looked horrible.
Yeah, you're retaining all of that water. And that's another sign too of like how you like if you have high blood pressure, you'll have a lot of swelling in your feet. And you know,
It was so bad. You
it's
seen that? What's that movie, Nutty Professor? That's how I look. That's how my feet look. It
oh
was
my
horrible. I've always had cute little petite feet. I'm not. I said, this is the man off the Nutty Professor. Why are my feet this big?
it yes, though. That is
My
funny.
grandma, my grandma was like, you need to elevate your feet. I said, girl, for how long? She's like, couple hours because they're just really bad. It was horrible.
Whoa. Yes, elevating above the heart, ankle pumps, ankle circuits,
Yes.
all of those things to get that fluid out of your legs and decrease your blood pressure.
I told my grandma, I said, I feel like we switched places. She's like, yeah, you're the old one now.
Grandma,
Yeah,
grandma, she had to let you know. But
it was
yeah, I
crazy.
mean, it's like, yeah, we got to get serious at because I'm hearing, and that's another reason I wanted to interview because I'm hearing so many stories of young people having strokes now. Like,
Yeah.
especially to the church I go to, one of the pastors there, his son died from like a heart attack at like 30.
Ooh,
And then this a deaconess at my church, her daughter just had a stroke and she is still in the recovery process and very successful, like PhD, working woman, all these things. And it's like we just don't think it can happen to us. And
seriously.
I'm very glad that we're talking about this and we're educating people on the signs, like high blood pressure. And that's why a lot of times we say high blood pressure is a silent killer because yeah,
Yeah.
you may have a headache, but you may brush that off and say, "Oh, I just been working a lot," or maybe I didn't drink
It's
enough water today. So it's not
it's just the increase in, not to cut you off. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
no, it's like it's just a lot of times you don't know when you have high blood pressure unless the damage is already like too
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's why they always, what do they say? It's a silent killer. Like you don't know. And it can be linked to so many things like your diet, your lifestyle. Like drug and alcohol abuse, smoking, like chronic stress. Like it's a stressful world. It's very like, yeah.
Yeah, it's very stressful. And it's like too, even with me, like I'm like trying to take a step back from social media and all of that because it's so much out there. And we have to realize that I heard the other day that the like Instagram feed is called a feed because you're feeding yourself. And
Yeah.
same thing with food. Like you're feeding yourself with food, you're feeding yourself mentally, you're feeding yourself spiritually. So what are you intaking? And like taking an inventory of all those things and
Yeah.
cutting some things out, but that's a place to start. The place to start is just getting the pattern. What is going on in my life? And then figuring out how you can balance some of those things. So,
100%.
um,
100%.
yeah, it's a lot. But, oh, and another thing too, I was going to say in the hospital, when I saw your video on Physiogram,
I
you
don't even
get
I
that
don't even
video?
know what that page is, but you have to send
Okay.
it to me.
Wait, how did they even get that video? Girl, it be so much stuff on there. And once I see that, I'm invested. Like now I have to go stalk your Instagram and I have to figure out what happened. No, and then when people don't have YouTube videos up, like you didn't have a YouTube video. So I'm like, dang, I don't even know what happened. But it was another
Do
guy.
most people have YouTube videos?
There was a guy on there when I say I was up late at night. He
Invested.
and I know this man whole life story. He didn't message me back though, because I wanted to get him on here. But he had a
Right.
motorcycle accident and he like burned like all of his body, lost his arm, like all
Yeah.
types of stuff. He's in the military around our age too.
Wow.
And he was talking about his physical therapy experience. And I was like, oh my, I mean, it was so good. Like I was on his YouTube at like 12 a.m. But
You're just
yeah, I
sitting
was
in bed, bro.
in the bed and I was like, what? I was like, and then what happened? But so when I saw your video, I know you said you don't, remember a lot in the hospital. And I think that is just how healthcare workers are really heroes because I was looking at
Yeah.
how they were setting you up and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that was a physical therapist, that was an occupational therapist, that was this and that. And when you work in that setting, like either acute care or inpatient rehab, I love
Yeah.
working in inpatient rehab because I would get people that would come in the hospital that they had a stroke and they couldn't even
Mhm.
sit up on their own.
Yeah.
They
And
leave,
my
they're walking out.
For sure. And my dad, I think I had my set nurses, but my one day my dad was there and he was like, I think your nurse was out that day or something happened because the nurse that we had wasn't your girl. And he said the lady was just being too aggressive. She was like, he said she was just too aggressive. She was just grabbing you, like it was just, I didn't like it. He was like, he said I had to go report her and let her know she can't come back in here.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, because he was like, had I not been there, I wouldn't have saw that. But then
Thank
also, if you don't, like you said, if you don't have people advocating for you, like I'm so grateful that my family was there. And I'm also extremely grateful that like my aunt was a nurse at that hospital. Because you just don't know. You don't know. And me, like I have no memory of anything that happened during that time. So my dad stepping in and being like, she needs to be dismissed. She can't come back in here because she's handling her too rough. She's not handling her with care. I don't want this nurse back in this room, like all these things. And he was like, once that happened, she got replaced with another nurse
Thank you. Man, that's what it is. And that's, really standing firm on that and making sure that, yeah, people are treating you right.
with
People
care,
with care. And for me, I always say, like, I treat people as if, like, that was my family. Like,
for sure.
my mom, I would want people to go, like, do your job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, go above and beyond, but bare minimum, do your job. Do what you're here for.
Do your job.
And just remember that that is somebody's like family member. And that's another thing too we see in like the hospitals and acute care and inpatient rehab. It's not a lot of people that have that support system. So I definitely want to shout out your family, shout out your granddad. I know he is looking down on you in heaven and so
Yes.
proud of you. So thank you so much for sharing that. And that was another question I had too, like what do you think healthcare workers can do better? um
What do
so
I think? What?
healthcare workers can do better in situations like that?
I don't, that's, you know, to I think exactly what you said, just understanding like this could be you. This could be you. And like I understand if work is stressful, if you're stressful, if you're tired, then find somebody else to fill in for you. Take step away and let somebody else come care for the patient because you don't know every case that you're handling and every person that you're handling. Everybody should be treated with care because we come to you as a person for you to help us. For you to quote unquote save our lives, make us feel better. So that's what it should be. Um I feel like you're about to ask me another question, but I don't remember.
Yes, I actually we are gonna wrap up, girl.
I
I've
know we're over our time.
taken over so much of your time. I'm like, oh my,
No, it's okay.
oh, this was wonderful though. I enjoyed it. Thank you for being obedient to God and sharing your
Shout
testimony
out to God.
because listen, he did his big one with you. Like when people see
He
the video,
did.
like I posted on my Instagram, people see the video, they're gonna be like, what? Is that the same girl? Like, oh
Crazy.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Like, so and I'm
God is good.
physiogram page too. Yes, all the time. And how we end every episode is talking about a test that we went through that led to a testimony. So you definitely touched on that.
I'm
Or
like, this is my test.
that's a test. Yeah, that was test. Or it's something that we're currently going through now that's going to lead to a testimony. So if you have anything else to add on that, go ahead. But if not, I mean that was a big
I
one.
think outside of my stroke, and I feel like it is, people will say it's probably the worst thing that has happened to me in my life because I never had any major operations, no major surgery. I haven't even broke my ankle, nothing. But like, this was probably externally what people say the worst thing that could have happened to me, but I honestly think it was probably the best thing that happened to me. Like, I feel like God hit a reset button. And was it a bit dramatic? Yes. But also it is probably the best thing that could have happened to me in the worst way. But it was, this has been the best thing that can happen to me. And I think what, I forgot the question, but I think, what did you say?
A
What
test,
I would tell people?
a
Or
test.
what do I think, like a test that I'm going through?
Yeah.
A test that I think I'm going through right now is being obedient because I'm not the most obedient person. But then also I think a test and something that God is showing me and teaching me is how to use my voice. Because it's connected to something. I don't know what it is, but I know that God is using this testimony to catapult me into another area. I don't think it's particularly photography, which is something that I have done my whole life. And it's a struggle for me. Currently it's a struggle because this is what I do. This is my passion. This is what I love. I've always loved art. I've always loved photography. I've always loved digital media. And we're in a tug of war now because he's pulling me out of it and it's uncomfortable. And it is hard to go from being behind the camera to being in front. But then it's like I know something is attached to this. And I think again, I've been having this conversation with God for almost 2 years now. And so now you never want to be in a position with God where he has to force you to do things. And so I think now he's in this thing. He's like, okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we're gonna work through it together. Cause I feel like God know, like, okay, you know how some people gotta handle them delicately. That's me. But I feel like now he's in this space to where he's like, I'm done handling you delicately. But also he's showing me that this story is attached to something and I just have to go. So again, I don't even know if I'm answering the question, but a advice that I would give people is do the uncomfortable thing, because the uncomfortable thing will lead you to your testimony, lead you to the doors that will open for you, lead you to the life that you want or the situations that you want, and most of the time it's not comfortable. So do the uncomfortable thing early and do it quickly because your calling is waiting for you. It's literally waiting for you. It's like it ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's another thing too. Is like when there is a calling on your life, it can how long are you gonna wait to go get it? Like essentially it's already there, it's yours, but it's like you have to take the steps to go get the thing. So did they answer the question? I hope it answers
That
the
went
question.
above and beyond. I need to see
Sorry.
that myself. And whoa, because you don't want God to have to force you. Because I always say God will show you better than He will tell you.
Yeah.
So
100%.
get it together. And I'll say too, I don't want God to have to tell me twice. He already told
And
me.
he's told me too many times. And again, I know we're over our time,
Mhm,
but even if you cut the tape, it's something that I always share is like I did not shamingly, like this is I'm ashamed of myself, honestly, but I didn't have a relationship with God until after my stroke.
mhm,
I didn't go to church.
mhm,
I was intimidated by the Bible. But my family, I have a strong spiritual family, but like it was never my thing. Like I didn't go to church, I didn't listen to gospel music, I didn't go prayer, please.
mhm,
I didn't even know how to formulate a prayer. Definitely wasn't praying out loud. Definitely wasn't gonna suggest nobody to pray. But like I went to God when it was convenient for me. I went to God when there was a problem for me. I went to God when I needed him to see me through something. Um, and so now I don't miss church on Sunday.
oh,
You know what I'm saying?
church
And
right
you
now.
know, we live in this world where like, oh, you can go digitally. No. I go to the church house.
I'm about to be on the way in about 20 minutes. Both
And
services.
then like I need to read my Bible more, but again, it's still intimidating to me. But I do read my Bible. I pray with my grandma all throughout the week. But me, I pray and I talk to God every day, all day, in the car, walking my dog, cooking. Like it's my normal. So that's another takeaway.
Thank you. And it's shining through with everything you're doing too, because like how I said, before we started, I was like, I always prayed before, but I've never prayed with someone like while they're
Do
on.
it, yeah.
Yeah. I
You
never
started talking. You started talking. I said, "We gonna pray first." You was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's go."
And I love that. I love that spiritual correction because it's needed. And we be in our own heads and think like, oh my gosh, like somebody's gonna, oh, they're gonna say this or they're gonna say that. But it's like, no, God is never going to like not tell you to pray. You with someone.
Right.
So yeah, that's an enemy that's just coming in and trying to, get in there and infiltrate. But girl, this was awesome. And I told you it's gonna be good. I told you it's gonna be good. Like this is, oh my gosh, I am just, oh, I needed to hear this. I really did. And
Yeah.
I need to be more obedient to with my podcast and more consistent, really, because
Yeah.
yeah, this is for
Because
the
you don't know.
hmm
You don't know what you don't know how you don't again, we couldn't all over time. This ain't gonna be in the podcast, but you don't know how the stories you tell will impact and help the next person. So you have to be obedient. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Like even if the podcast is small, even if like the views are just your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your cousin, like you don't know what the stories you tell are attached to. So like
mm,
if I can tell you anything, yes, be more consistent.
more consistent. I receive it.
Yeah.
I
Even if it's like you posting podcast episodes that's already out, post little clips, little sound bites, little 15-second clips. Because
mhm,
that's the thing right now. That's what's going viral right now. Cause our attention spans are so short. So it's like
mhm.
even if you got old episodes, like short clips and still push them out. Put something out.
I receive
Cause
it.
you don't know who needs to hear it.
You don't know who's here. Yeah, we got to think about the bigger picture and yeah, being Christ centered. So I receive it. I'm going to do it. And yes, thank you all for listening. This is another episode of Testimony Thursdays featuring Jasmine Ryland, and she was awesome. Follow me on social media, Testimony Thursdays on Instagram and TikTok. And Jasmine, if you want people to find you and follow you, you're more than welcome to give out your info. And if
You
you don't,
follow me on Instagram at Jasmine Ryland. She tagged me below. So
yes, yes, you'll be able to see her and see the story and see the video. So thank you all. See you all next week.